Today we're talking to St Albans City manager Ian Allinson down at Westleigh Park, where the Saints have done their National League South survival hopes at power of good with a 2-1 away win against high-flying Havant and Waterlooville. In fact, if we look at our away record, Ian, wins at Bath, wins at Weymouth, and now wins at Havant. Unexpected, and we needed that today, though.
Yeah, it was. As I said, I'm under no illusions how tough today was going to be. I mean, I think we've been a bit fortunate with the sending off. When I say fortunate, I haven't seen the incident. I know I've just spoke to you about it, but I think it helped us to get back into the game, and it allowed us to change our shape a little bit. And we've obviously gone and got the 2 goals and created sort of a couple more chances after that. But we've still had to dig really deep because they put lots of good quality in the box. They've attacked the ball well, and Dean's had to make 2 really good saves in that last 10 minutes just to keep it at 2-1. So, but again, as you said there, I'll take the 3 points all day long. Whether it's the way it's happened or we've had to go and play really well. And at times today we have played really well on a difficult pitch. We've had to dig in deep. First half I thought we were excellent, and we were on 1-0 down at half time, and that was probably the disappointment. But there you go, that's football at the end of the day, and we've got to take our 3 points and now take it forward to next week.
Well, winding back to the start of the game, it was almost a mirror image of Oxford last week. We got in great position twice in that first 8 minutes, and we didn't pull the trigger. We didn't shoot. We went a goal down, and by half time we were looking pretty tame as an attacking force.
Did you think so? I thought we actually did all right. I think you look at the free kick David Noble's had, which just gone into the side netting. I look at the header that Joe's had, that's just gone quite a long way to the side of the pitch. But I actually thought we got in some really good areas, and I think what you just said, we didn't pull the trigger, and that's probably the reason why we haven't gone put them under more pressure. But again, it was about content in terms of the way we was just going to try and contend with what they were doing with us. They were causing us lots of problems with the long throws. It's probably the only time in the first half that we didn't really reshape in terms of when the ball was cycled out and cycled back in. We didn't quite get our 2 centre-halves back in when they needed to be. But Dean's only really had 1 shot that's gone straight to him, and so defensively we'd done really well first half. I know we had the wind with us first half. It was up the slope, and I was quite pleased at half time. I said I thought the players had done well. We've just got to try and grow into the game a little bit more in the second half. And though the substitution of the sending off has allowed us to get back into the game, probably a little bit easier than what we expected, but we was ready to go and cause them some problems in the last half hour.
Well, Danny Kedwell probably won't agree. It's him who sent off a challenge on Tom Bender. Haven't looking at the footage, thinking of putting in an appeal, but the game in many respects seems flat at that time, and the sending off actually livened it up, it livened the crowd up, it put a bit more bite out on the pitch, and the whole thing came alive, and it certainly worked in our favour anyway.
Yeah, but I think we set the stall out to keep the crowd quiet, which was what we did. We didn't want to antagonise anything that's going to give them a lift. And I think if you stand up here now and you see the quality of the pitch, and their manager's probably the first person to say that the pitch doesn't help them in terms of the way they play the game. So they've had to change their style and their shape a little bit, and they are keeping the ball off the floor a hell of a lot. And it's probably, it's been, though it's helped them in some areas, it's probably been a downfall in other areas for them. So all we can do is worry about ourselves. As I said before the game today, we're third from bottom. We can't come here and go gang-ho and expect to attack the team that's probably third or fourth in the league and expect to go and win a game. We've got to be disciplined. We have to defend in numbers and be organised, and we've done that really well. We still create a few chances, and as I say, the sending off has probably helped us to go and win the game, but also it's part of football, and at the end of the day, if the referee's seen something now, I can't tell you what it was like because I didn't see it enough, and it was on the wrong side of where we are. And as I've just said to you, you can't see it on your highlights. So we can only leave it with the referee at the end of the day. And I know we had him last year, and he sent Clovis Camjo off. So as I said all along, swings and roundabouts, and things do even themselves out over the course of the football season.
You mentioned the pitch area, Ian, because it is very soggy here. Hardly surprising after all the rain we've had. You might not have noticed it in your cosy little dugout there, but it was extremely windy being up in the gantry. That seemed to have an effect on the game as well.
I think you're right. As I say, I think I watched the Watford-Everton game last night, and the same thing. It was really windy, and I think the conditions in terms of trying to play football at the moment is really difficult. The wind has been blowing for probably 3 weekends on the trot. It's the rain's been coming down non-stop for the last couple of weekends, and any pitch that gets on at the moment is going to be in a serious condition of cutting up and causing problems with it. So sometimes you have to play the conditions, and today was a difficult game because, as you said, the wind and the pitch and everything else that went on was a difficult game. But I can only look at the end of the day is about what we've done, and as I said there, I felt we were really disciplined the way we went about our business. We tried to play football when we could. I felt we tried to play too much football when it went down to 10 men. and we started to run with the ball. I didn't think we could run with the ball on the pitch today, but once we got balls into good areas, I felt we caused them problems, and Joe's had a couple of chances late on to put the game to bed. We haven't taken it, and then, as I said, Dean's had to make 2 really good saves late on to keep us in the game, because they put the 2 centre halves up at centre forwards. They had nothing to lose at that stage, and they were causing us problems by just bombarding us with long balls into the box. But we've had to dig deep. The centre halves have made some really good headers, cleared the balls. Midfield players have obviously done their job, and Dean's had to make 2 worldies in the last sort of 10 minutes just to keep it at 2-1.
We went into this game with 3 successive clean sheets. In fact, we'd only had 3 shots on target against us in those 3 games. Dean Snedeker, as your mate said, made those great saves today. We only conceded 1 goal. As long as we stay that tight at the back for the rest of the season, we can keep picking up points.
Yeah, exactly. As I said, if we don't concede a goal for the rest of the season and don't score a goal, we'll be fine. We'll end up on 44 points. So there's not a lot we can do. All we can keep doing is trying to do what we do. Take one game at a time. We've got a tough fixture at Chippenham next week, where we've got to go in there and make sure we don't lose. Simple as that. But as you said earlier, our away form is better than our home form. So while we're on the road, we've still got to keep picking these points up, picking the wins up, because we've got to turn the home form around now and get a bit more on the front foot, try and score some more goals than what we've done, and try and get the goal deficit back to where it should be, which is on a plus at the moment. It's a minus, and we've got to get it back to a plus as quickly as possible.
Chippenham had a couple of successive wins before today. They lost today. Of course, we've won. Tunbridge have won, so they're sucked back into it. So it is a very big game. Yeah,
and if you look at the league, I know Billericay have got loads of games in hand, but they're down there now, and Braintree are down there now, and Dulwich are down there now, Eastbourne are down there now. So all that we can do, as I said to you 2 weeks ago, is just keep dragging these teams into it. All we can worry about is ourselves, win our games, and they can worry about themselves. But as I've said to you from day one, David, we've been in a relegation fight here from the 5th game of the season, and we know that, we've accepted it, and we've had to work extremely hard to try and turn this around. We've now got a squad that I'm quite comfortable with. We've settled down into a lovely rhythm. The shape's really good for us where we are. Players have got a lot of belief in themselves, which is good. And we just got to go and see the season out and make sure we do it correctly. And if we do that, then we'll be fine. But it's been a long, hard season in terms of getting to where we are now. We're only 1 or 2 injuries away from causing a bit of problem with the shape. But I think the squad itself, we've got good players on the bench. I feel a little bit sorry for them in terms of not any performance in terms of games, but they've got to be patient, because the boys have got the shirts at the moment, they've done the job, and why they're playing to the level they're playing, then they'll keep the shirts. After that, then we've obviously got to look at where we are. But we've got 10 games to go now. If somebody said to me, we're going to do what we've done over the last 3 games in the league, then on the snap your hands, I've said to you at the time, we just need one spell where we go and pick up 7 points out of 9, and we've done that. Now we've got to make sure we go and pick something up at Chippenham next week.
Zane Banton, 7 goals of the season. This was a big season for him. He came back from his broken leg, which of course was at Chippenham last season, and he's responded superbly. And Sam Merson looked more like a Sam of old today.
Yeah, and it's been good because with Zane is because he didn't start the season. We got to the end of August, just beginning of September. But anyone that's coming back from the length of time he's been out, you've got to look at 6 to 8 games to get back to match fitness. So you can probably count out the first 10 games of the season as where he's trying to get back to where he was. And Sam, every time it looks like Sam's going to turn a corner, he's picked an injury up. He's had the calf injury, he's had the hamstring injury, and again, as I said to you, both him and Jefferson have been unfortunate that the shape we've played the last couple of games has worked for us. And but Sam's reaction to come up today and scoring the goal and the way the performance he put in after that was excellent. And that's all we can ask. When we make the substitutions, we want players to come on and react and do things the way they've done it, and Sam's certainly done that today.
During the 6 minutes of added time, the ball went into our dugout, somebody kicked it away and got a yellow card.
Yes, thanks for that, boys. So apparently that's what happens these days. So I've not had many yellow cards in my life, David. I've never had a red card, so to get a yellow card was a disappointment. But I think one of the boys at the back just kicked the ball away, which was stupid. We said that afterwards. We've got to be better than that. Just don't touch it. Leave the ball where it is and let the players come and get it. We can't do nothing wrong from that side of it, but I don't know what happens after that. I don't know whether we get a letter or I get a fine or what happens, so I ain't got a clue, so I can't tell you. So I'll let you know when it all comes through.
All right, fair enough. Thanks, Ian. A terrific day.
Thanks very much.
Right, just a reminder then, the Saints next in action on Saturday the 29th of February, when we're down at Harden Hewish Park, National League South, away to Chippenham Town. Kick-off there is at 3 p.m.